Hello, hello, hello. It's 10:30. Are we live? Good morning. It's 10:30 on the button. Have you been waiting? I bet you thought she's forgotten about us. Well, she hadn't. She was just indoors checking on the kittens and making a cup of tea. So come on in. What a morning! What a morning! Stuart, can you just let me know that the sound's all right, please, love? Stuart's in the building with you good people. Hello, my friend. Hello, Karen. Oh. That's all I can do is laugh. It's gone berserk. You know what the best thing is? I just did an hour on Ho Chanda, which is why we're half an hour late. Hang on a minute. And sound is great. Good. Thank you, Stuart. And our mandala stamps. Do you remember when we drew it? When we drew them? Look, come on, you remember. Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember when we drew these and we did that and then we went round and then the next day we came back and we did the next layer and the next layer and the next layer and then we did the little winter scenes and the stamps and then we ended up doing partial art. Do you remember where we made it try and look all grungy? God, we were on it for weeks, weren't we? Yeah? Do you remember? Wow, we made them into stamps. Good morning, come on in, grab a seat. It's horrible out there today, it's real murky. Good weather for staying indoors, that's what we say. Oh, calm down, Gray. Yes, we made them into stamps and they just flew out the door like madly. So I want to show you, in case you weren't watching, look. So we made the stamps and here's the thing, see, because of the way we doodled it, one ring at a time as we were building it up, we were using the same wheel to do that as we're using to make the Christmas wreaths and the holly wreaths and what we're doing today. You know that thing that wheel, the circular wheel, well, wheels are going to be circular, otherwise they're not going to be very good, aren't they? You wouldn't want square wheels on your car. The thingy, I will show you what I mean. That, you see, that was exactly the same thing. Maybe Stuart will be able to, if you're new to the SHAC, Safe, Happy and Creative, Stay Home and Craft, perhaps Stuart will be good enough to let you know, because I can't remember, which week was it, or somebody, if somebody wants to go back and look at how we built our mandalas, perhaps Stuart, you'd be good enough to let them know. And this is exactly the same. Download, if you haven't got it, you print it off. Stuart will show you. It's got Stuart hopping about today. Stuart will show you where to find that. And failing that, we can always send it to you. It might take a little while because at the moment we're up to here in crocodiles, aka orders. Our Grey Friday sale launched. I had a little bit of a quiet launch yesterday. There was nothing quiet about it. It was like, shh, we're open. The Grey Friday sales have started, and it went bang. okay, we know now, you were waiting. It's all good though, you know. I can't tell you how grateful I am. It gets tiring, this, you know, trying to keep a business going. I can't express how bad I feel for the companies that are, you know, hospitality. What an industry to be in right now, eh? Hospitality and travel. Yeah, rough. Very, very rough. Online craft company, not bad. Because everybody's at home and bored and not going anywhere and thinking, right. And we had a banging little online craft company prior to this, didn't we? So, anyway, back to the deal. So what we did was, Lucy, lovely Lucy at work, she helped me deconstruct. See, so we deconstructed. So these are like 3 sets of stamps. That's a stamp, that's a stamp, that's a stamp, that's a stamp. See, and they're all individual. So you can make amazing, the mix and match ability of this. It's just exactly how we drew it. And then we added a few bits. It's exactly how we drew it. It's exactly how we drew it. Except, I wonder if the size is the same. Well, blimey. Even the size is almost identical. How about that, eh? That's impressive. Well done, Lucy. Yeah, so there you go. And that, my friends, is what went absolutely mad on telly today. So if I'm a bit hyper, it's because this place looks like a bomb's hit it. A bomb's hit it. And I'm back on again at 1 o'clock. So I thought, SHAC. I've got to hang out with my friends for an hour. Shall I show you a couple of cards that we made? This is so cool, right? Just in case you didn't watch, right? This is what I've been doing. This is me being busy. Oh, that was the pattern building one. That one. That's done with a couple of little stamps going around the outside. There's one I haven't got to yet. But it's exactly what we did in the SHAC. Except the difference is now we can separate out the layers, which is pretty cool. This is a beautiful one by Sheila Metzeler that I just love. And it's got our seasons. Isn't that lovely? Oh, no. And then that was the one that I did. I borrowed an idea from Andy Duggan. I really like that. I really like that. That's the big one. See, look, it's like that. Not like that. Not like that. That was really weird. Like that, look. See? So I stamped it and then I flicked and splashed colour on it. Doesn't that look good? Hey? I know. Thanks, Andy. So, yeah, that's where I've been all morning. Peddling like a nutter. What else are we going to do? Hey? What else are we going to do? We're going to spend this time. We're going to do the best we can, given what we've got, right? And I was speaking to Dave this morning, and it's the only thing we can do. You know, our mission is to get up every morning, have a plan, and get to bed every evening safe. And in the middle, the day, right, it's our job as individuals to try and have the best, easiest, kindest day that we can have, you know? That's all we've got to do. Don't worry about tomorrow, don't worry about Christmas. I already got myself all snarled up with Christmas. What for, right? So all we've got to do is a day at a time, get up, make a little plan, put a bit of lippy on, come in the SHAC on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, maybe do a little bit of doodling and artwork Tuesdays and Thursdays, hey? And just have the best day that you can have. Don't worry about the rest of the days. Just worry about this day. And then at the end of the day, put your head on the pillow and sleep. And then the next day, do the same thing again. That's how it works, one day at a time, okay? And today, I tell you what, I'm really glad. When we stopped on Wednesday, okay, I had the wherewithal to write in my little notebook so that I know. I wrote what we're going to do today. Transfer laurel wreath to buff paper. And that, oh, I can't tell you how relieved I was when I opened this book. Because I thought, what are we doing? I haven't prepared anything. Now I thought, easy. And then I thought, do you know what? My friends, we're all in this together. They know that I've just been going like the clappers. And the thing about a TV show is it doesn't start at 9 o'clock and finish at 10 o'clock. Oh no, that took 2 days to prepare that roast dinner. Yeah, it is, it's like a roast dinner. It takes you days to prepare it and then 10 minutes to eat it. And we're going again at 1 o'clock. It's all over the floor. Jelly plate. Just, yeah. So, yeah, gel press. The big one. And the paint. I thought I'd leave it till 1 o'clock and I'm going to get covered. I got my best top on as well, so I might have to put an apron on. Smile. Come on. Am I irritating you? Good, then there's life in the old body yet. Oh, it's all right. Come on. Let's transfer laurel wreath to buff paper. So this week we're building wreaths, and you're enjoying this. I did have a quick peep, even though I did come off Facebook for a few days because a couple of people were really being rude to me, and I thought, I don't need this. I don't need rudeness right now. Back off, right? So I thought, well, the only thing is, rather than have a go at them, I'll just switch Facebook off. Easy. So, but I did have a little peep at your artwork because I can't help myself. Beautiful. Really nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. If something's getting on your pip, you've got to locate the source and then cut it out. Okay? That's my top tip for today. That was getting on my pip. Don't like being fired at. Nobody does, do they? Eh? Yeah. So the answer was to just unhook myself so she can't find me, or they can't find me. Right. Okay. So what we're going to do today is transfer the wreath to buff paper, because I thought that would be really nice. Did you do a wreath? Let's have a little recap. We've got an hour, and the good news is I've got an hour after this before I have to start pedaling again. Where did I put that bit of paper now? If I'm a bit scatty today, it's okay with you, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I have a solution. Turn me off. Turn me off if I'm getting on your pip. Now, buff paper. What should we do? I'm going to use, what should we use? Light buff or dark buff? Let's have a look. I don't think there's that much of a difference really. Light buff or dark buff? I'm going with the buff that I just got out, that'll do. Dark buff. Paper. White on that side, buff on that side. Really nice to draw with. Okay, wreath. I need my other glasses on. Have you got all your bits and pieces? Come on, let's have a cup of tea. I tell you what, those kittens are getting, they're big kittens now. They're like Bengal tigers. And when they scrap, because they're brothers, aren't they? Ginger Toms, you want to see them go? It is funny. And we've got an island in the kitchen, right? And last night, Dave and I were rolling it. So Eric, who's the aggressor, it's definitely Eric the Red, right? He's like that. And Ragnar, who's a little bit more nimble, he goes round the island, and Eric, he's sitting there waiting for Ragnar to come back round this way. He hasn't figured out yet. So Ragnar comes round the outside. It's like a panther, right? And then he goes, and the thing is, you got to see Eric because he's like that, waiting for Ragnar to come round that way. And then Ragnar's like, poof. And then it starts, and there's just this fur ball rolling around the kitchen. It is so funny. They haven't injured each other yet, but talk about play fight. Golly. I mean, they're still only tiny. What are they? 13 weeks old? Can you imagine if 13-week-old babies did that? You'd never have any, would you? Be like that. It's all right. We don't need children in this household. Yeah, mental. Right, come on, Barbara. Focus on what we're doing. Right, so have you got a wreath, a laurel wreath? Have you? Now, which one do I like better? I like them both, but I think I'm going to go with that one. Yeah? And what we got to do now is transfer this over onto our buff paper. Because I was thinking, well, to be fair, I haven't thought about this too much. Okay? But I did in the middle of the night think it'd look really nice if it was done on black, in black on buff, with some white in it. Snowberries. With a bit of shading. I thought it's got to look good. How can it not look good? So that's what we're going to do. Everybody happy? Come on, drink your tea, Gray. Stop waffling. Ah, dear, oh dear. Right, pencil. So what we need, let's just get it right. I have actually. Have I mislaid it, or am I just clowning around? No, here it is. I worry about that because my printer's broken. I'll say that again slowly in case anybody at work's listening. my printer is broken. We were going to get me a new one. So I can't print anything off at the moment. Right. So what we're going to do is put this down. Let's see, because I used quite a fine pencil to do this, so I don't know. I may in a minute have to go, actually, rewind. I'm going to have to retrace it and get some softer pencil going, if you know what I mean. So what have we got here? 2H. Let me just check something. If I go round there, is it going to transfer? We've already done the watercolour one, ready for Monday, haven't we? I'm sure that's what we did do. Do I think I can see that? Let me have a little peep. I'll come in closer in a minute. It's a bit subtle. This is something else. It's a little bit subtle. So, right, subtle is my way of saying I can't see it. Right? So let's go to a softer pencil. I'm going for, let's go for 3B. It's a black one. HB will do. Right? And then I'm back on the front again. I'm back on the front. And what I've got to do now is, actually I'm going to take that out from underneath though, because in the minute I'm just going to embed it. It'll be like Canterbury Cathedral, just an etching. Right, now you see, you can see what's blacker, can't you? So let's just do this. Come on, let's go round. Round we go. Won't take long. Let me just check that this is going to actually work. All the theory in the world. You see, usually I'm on top of this, aren't I? Usually I've done all this before we get together, but this week's been a little bit of a one of them. Let me just check it up in the corner, see if it works. Okay, now let me take my sharper one and see if it transfers better so I can actually see what I'm doing. I would say so. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of minutes out just to redraw it. Do you need to, or are you good to go? Are you golden? Right, hang on a minute. Let me just come in a bit closer. What's the time? Oh, you see, I thought it can't be. But of course we didn't start until half an hour later. So let's go round. Let's calm down a bit, Gray, a bit hyper. I've been up since 3 o'clock, worrying about blimmin' TV. No, not blimmin' TV, lovely TV. You do, you worry, oh no, that's wrong. You do, you know, it doesn't matter how many years you do it, you do, I think, oh, is that going to work, is that going to work? And then another little voice says, oh, come on, Barbara, it's only an hour, give yourself a break. So it goes on. But anybody that's done live TV knows exactly what I'm talking about. You go through all the phases and the stages, and you hope it's all going to work. And this afternoon, right, this is the one that I always get anxious about. It's the jelly plate. I've got the gel press out, and it's the one that I've got absolutely no control over. It's the best art. It is the best art, but it's one of those ones, do you really want to do it on live telly, Gray? Well, yeah, you do, because it's going to look really cool what you show. You know, that's the thing. You want to show it off, but you can't really. It's one of those ones, you've got to do it live. You can't go, well, here's one I did earlier. Well, I have actually got, here's a one I did earlier, just in case they go completely to pot. But you've got to show it off. You've got to show how it works. It's not even hard. It's just one of those ones. It's one of those techniques with paint where you, where it looks pretty awful before. It's not like instant beauty, you know, and you can say till the cows come home, it'll be all right in a minute, it's going to get better, it will improve. And you can see everybody thinking, really? But it does get better and it does improve and it does look beautiful. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing at 1 o'clock. And I hope that you, after lunch, if you're bored, that you join me. How are you? All right? I had to grasp the nettle this week, so to speak, and tell the children that it'd probably be best not to come home at Christmas. So that was a little bit of a gutty, you know. Wasn't great, but, you know, it doesn't make sense. Come on. To come from New York or San Francisco, and we're in Kent, so there you go. So you're going from 2 hotbeds on a plane with a load of people from those areas into an area that's already going to be in total lockdown. So people, you know, much as I love my children more than anything else in the world, that just didn't make sense. And I know they're desperate to come home, but I think in the end, somebody had to make the call. And I think the sooner I make it, the better for them. Because now they've got a chance. I said, blimey, kids, you know, go skiing. Do something on that side of the pond. Do something, you know. You spend 5 days in quarantine here in Edenbridge, in Steve's flat, whoopee, because he's going to vacate it for you. Or you could go skiing. Go and rent a log cabin somewhere in the mountains, away from humans. You know? So we'll see if they think that that's a good idea or not. It's up to them. But that means Christmas is going to be different this year for the first time ever. But there you are. It is what it is. Somebody had to make the call, and I guess it was my job. It was my job. I think it was going to get made anyway. Do you know what I mean? Just, I made it a bit sooner than maybe could have waited a bit longer, but I think it was madness to even think that we were going to get together at Christmas. I said, let's do Christmas in the springtime, when the days are longer, and the weather's better, you know, and Oma and Grandad have got a vaccination, so they're safer. You know, that's what it's all about. It's about my mum and dad. It's obvious, really, isn't it? So there we go. C'est la vie. How are you getting on? Are we nearly there yet? Well, hey, nearly there. There we are. So we go round and round. Do you know what? In a minute, I've got to do this again. I apologise for not doing this sooner. But it's all right. It's going to look great when it's done. Put this on buff and then colour it in white and then ink it. That's what I think. That's the sequence, isn't it? Hey? There you go. Have we missed anything? We've got a couple of those, haven't we? A couple of dots, a couple of berries. Hey? Should we add a couple of extras? Looking good, isn't it? There's a little leaf there. What's that? Put another berry there. Balance. It's all about a bit of balance. There we go. We can always put the veins in afterwards. I know where a vein goes. I don't need to draw that. How's that? Is that cool? Nice. So we've used an HB pencil or something with a bit more graphite, a bit more lead. I used a 3B, which is a little bit strong, but at least you can see it. Okay. Right, now back to the plan. So now we'll take a bit of low-tack masking tape. We'll decide where we're going to put it. I'm going to stick in the middle a little bit, only because I don't know what I'm doing around the outside yet. I may frame it, you see. And if you frame it and it looks really good, you'll wish that you hadn't gone so close to the edge. You see? So now the pencil's on that side. I flipped it over. How are you? You all right? Hey? I know. I do. I get it. I really get it. But it's one day at a time. And today we're doodling a laurel wreath on a bit of buff paper. And if you haven't got any buff paper, then use a bit of copy paper. Doesn't matter. Just do something. Doodle something. Hey? Come on, let's have a sip of tea. Yeah. Weird old world today, eh? Be all right. We'll come up with a plan for Christmas, don't you worry. Never alone. Now, what I need now is not I need a sharper one now to do the transfer with. So I'm going to go to HB. If you've only got a pencil, then you can use HB, it's fine. I'm going with a sharper one now. And I'm going to transfer. This is easy, isn't it? So let's go again. And then we'll see. Let's see if it works first. How can it not work? It's got to work. Right, so what I'm going to do, just so that oh, sorry. Yeah, I know, don't shout at me. Don't shout at me. Right, what I'm going to do is make a little mark there, so I know when I go round, I don't keep going round and round in circles. So I know where I've got to. You see? Where I started. So now, this should work well. And I'm thinking, I really like these leaves, don't you? I won't even bother with the vein, because if I colour them in, it'll be easier to introduce the vein afterwards. Perhaps, I haven't decided yet. See, this is where, there you go. Should we have a little peep, see if it's working? You'd hate to go all the way around and then it not work, eh? It's like when we did the watercolour paper, which we have done, and we're gonna do the watercolour thing, buying. We're gonna do that on Monday. Yeah, that gives me Sunday to figure it out. Sorry. Oh, she's so professional. Right, here we go. Well, I'm working, actually, I've got to go to Mum's on Sunday. Oh, I'll figure it out. I'll have time. It's all right. It's good to be busy. It's very good to be busy. Now, let me see, where am I? Let me just check it's... Oh, is it working? Is it working? It's working like a charm. Look. Woohoo! Perfect. At least I can see what we're doing. Yeah, it's working like a treat. I like these big leaves. They've got a nice shape to them. Isn't it nice though when you... Didn't it feel weird to see something as a stamp like that when we've drawn it one ring at a time? Just as we've drawn it, exactly as we've drawn it. And I bet out of all the hundreds of those stamps that we've just sold on TV, loads of them went to us, to the SHAC-shackers, who thought, I never want to have to draw that again. So if it's available in a stamp, I'm having it. Hey. Here we go. Be all right. It'll be all right. I think it's important that we take it one day at a time. I know it sounds like a cliche, but we do have to. We don't have a lot of control over a lot of things at the moment, but one day at a time. You know, it's only a 24-hour period and we sleep for a third of it at least, don't we? If we're lucky, right? So let's this is what I do. I can only speak for myself. And every day I wake up and I say to myself, right, I'm going to have the best day that I possibly can have today. Okay. And then I go through the day and I try and be good. I try and not get aggressive, try not to say things that I regret, you know, because stress does that to you, does it to me. I fly off the handle and that's no good. So I go through the day, try to be a nice person, try not to leave any blood. And then at the end of the day, I look back at the day. And as the day draws to a close, we reflect on how it went. Sometimes it went better than others. I mean, I know I'm larking about. Have I been round it? No, I've just got to get there. But actually, it's a good thing to do. You know, at the end of every day, I have a look at how it went. I seriously do. And I check how I behaved. I look back and I think, I could have done that a bit differently. That wasn't necessary. I handled that one well, you know. And I look at the different situations that have been put in my place or in my path during the course of the day. And then I think, and I go through them one at a time when I'm lying in bed before I go to sleep. And I think, yeah, I did that one well. I mean, I'm not going to break my arm, pat myself on the back, but, you know, could have gone differently. And then if I do something that was really stupid or not necessary, then I make a mental note and I think, all right, do that differently tomorrow. Make amends where I have to. Apologise if I was rude, or I tend not to be rude, but, you know, just to be aware, I suppose, monitoring my behaviour. I think that's the key, isn't it? Just monitoring my conduct, I think. That's not a bad thing to do. It's not a bad thing to do. I tell you who it helps more than anybody, it's me. Which sounds selfish, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And if I'm happy with myself, or I'm happy with the way I've behaved, you know what I mean. If you have a row with your husband or your wife, and you say things that you shouldn't have said, or you lose your rag, you suffer just as much as he or she does. You feel awful about it, don't you, afterwards? Right, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm missing a little bit down there. I must have gone a bit light on this one here. You know, so it sounds selfish, but in the end, if I'm careful how I behave, I benefit from that. Well, apart from the obvious that everybody around me benefits from it, but I feel better in myself, you know, because on top of everything else going on now, Christ, the last thing you want to do is feel awful because of the row you had, or, you know, or have a row on top of this lot. You know what I mean? That would be the last straw, wouldn't it? So ironically, let's have a look. Have I got it all now? Just about. Nice, eh? Have I got that big leaf in? No. One of the pieces of artwork that I'm doing this afternoon on the gel press, I've taken a couple of stickers, and it's weird because it looks as if I rigged it, but I didn't. They just fitted really nicely. And they say they're from the sticker book. Oh, I can't remember. The original sticker book, I think. And it says, be good, do good, feel good. Be good, do good, feel good. And I think, simple words, but they pack a punch, you know. Do good. No, start off with being good, and then doing good, and then you feel good, don't you? That's it. It's that simple. So let's call that our today's mantra. Let's have a look. Be good, do good, feel good. Because that's the way it works for me. Right, so we've transferred, exactly as I said in my book, transfer laurel wreath to buff paper. Voila. Okay? What's the time? Easy. So now we've got this. So now let's have a think. This is called BFT, PFT, playing for time. Let's have a little think. No, I know what we're going to do next. I dreamt about it. Right. So, have you got this far? Have you got this too? Or am I on my own here? Let me have a little read of what you're saying. I hope you're not having a go, because I don't think I could cope. Hi Barbara, great session on Ho Chanda. I know. You wish you had my energy. I wish I had my energy. I wish I had my energy. I tell you what, is it because I is 60? Is it because I is 61? I get to 3 o'clock and I'm like, I might as well have been on the gym. I am so tired by the time 3 o'clock rolls around in the afternoon. I'm done for. Is that the same for you? And my mum always says, have a nap. And it's like, wow, you're running a business. You don't think it's appropriate really, you know. And then Dave, his auntie was a farmer. She farmed in skirts all her life. And she always said, if you can't have a nap after lunch, it's bad management. So I don't know if I reached an age where I need a nap. Because I tell you what I do find, if I do have a little nap, just half an hour, it doesn't have to be a long nap, just a little power nap, yeah. If I have a little nap, I can keep going right through till 10 o'clock at night. But if I don't do something at 3 o'clock, like just shut my eyes for 5 minutes or sit with a cat for 10 minutes and just stroke the cats, I find I'm struggling all through the evening. Just like, you know, got no energy. It's like saps. I'm sure it can't, I don't think it's anything other than my age. I don't think it's anything other than my age, you know, because when I was younger and I used to drink a lot, I always was tired at 3 in the afternoon as well. But usually I'd been up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Party, right? So, and I remember I used to run a language school. Oh, I'm telling you, this is funny, right? But I will tell you. And we used to do evening classes as well, okay? So I'd have to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning because we used to teach business English, and then at 7 o'clock in the evening teaching business English, and then I'd be stupid enough to go out on the sherbet, let's call it, until 2 and 3 in the morning. And because it was in Germany, they didn't have like closing time in the pubs. He just used to go on until he fell over, which I did. Don't tell anyone. Anyway, and then I'd get to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'd think, oh my God, I've got to go till 9 o'clock tonight because there's a bunch of business people coming in a minute. And so I had nowhere to lie down. So I'd lie down on the floor behind my desk. I mean, I did own the business, so I could lock the office door. And I'd lie down, not every day, just if it was particularly a good night. If it was a particularly good night the night before, this was my solution, because you've always got to find a solution. So I used to lie down on the carpet, and then I'd say to the secretary, do us a favour, give us a shout when 10 minutes before they were arriving. And she'd say, okay. And I'd wake up and I'd have been dribbling, right? and then I'd run in the bathroom to wash my hands and freshen up, and I'd have the carpet print on my face. Those were the days, my friend. I tell you what. And now I'm on ginger and lemon tea. Oh dear. Right, okay. I think I've waffled enough. I've confided in you now. I've confessed. Those were the days. A long time ago, though. Yes, and I used to get tired at 3 o'clock in the afternoon then, but I think it was for other reasons. So I was thinking, right, have you got one of those? See, my thoughts on this, have you got a Posca pen? If you haven't, you've got to get one. These are absolutely brilliant. And everybody that's bought them so far says they're even, because I keep saying they're absolutely brilliant, and then you think, yeah, she's just exaggerating. But she's not. Let's have a go. Right. Posca pens, they're like white paint pens. You've got a fine one, and then you've got a fat one. And the fat one's got 2 nibs, 2 ends. So we've got to figure out which one we're going to use. I've got a feeling I might use the fat one for this. Let's just have a look. Yeah, come on. Hey. Come on, shake yours up as well. Just look at me. Oh, a bit of action. No bingo wings. When I used to use a brayer, I still do use a brayer. In fact, I've got it in the shower in the afternoon because it's good for the old paint distribution. But it's really good exercise using a brayer. If that's what you do 8 hours a day. Right, come on, let's see if this works. Shake it up, Gray. Right, this is a good one. Right, so that's that. Let's try the little one. Right. Oh yeah, okay. So, ooh, drum roll. I think I want to do, let me do these first. Do I feel more comfortable doing it with a large one? Oh, it's going to pop so beautifully. See, so what we've got to do now, let me just try this. I should have done this beforehand. I know, half of you have already posted your work. I'm waffling so much, you will have already posted it by the time. Let me try one with the little one, and then let me try one with the big one. So if we do the little one, you definitely... what do I think? 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, that's what I think. Does that one look whiter to you than that one, or is it my eyesight? Oh no, don't tell me that's on the blink as well. Right, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all the way round. I'm using the big fat one. Yes, and if I have to tart up the line art, because the thing is, we're going to go round. See, I'm tempted to do this, right, because I know it's going to be round. But if you do that and it puddles, then that's the end of the game, isn't it? I've just got a feeling if I do that, it'll go well for about 10 of them, and then there'll be a puddle. So why don't I just behave? There you go. Come on. Snowberries. Snowberries. Nice. This is the way to do it. Right, I've got my eye in now. Are you ready? So you go like that. Make a dot with the fat one, with the large nib, with the fat one. What kind of language is that, Gray? Well, you would never believe that I've got a degree in language. I've got a joint honours degree in linguistics. You listen to me. Right, like that, and then a little circular motion around the outside. Right. So I may speak with a southern accent, but I know lots of long words. Right, there we go. It's a dialect, isn't it? It's a regional dialect. And I cannot change it. I tried to be posh. I didn't try. It happened. I think I spoke more poshly when I was younger. And then when I went to live in America, well, when I lived in Germany and I taught English as a foreign language, I tried to speak a bit posher because I didn't think it would really go down very well if all the German businessmen were in Nuremberg all running around going, all right. I didn't know that would work so well. So I tried really hard not to speak with them. And then when I went to America, I went to live in the States. And everybody kept asking me if I was Australian. I said, I don't sound even remotely Australian. Stop asking me. Just ask me where I'm from. Stop guessing. And I think when I lived in America, I was so aware of not wanting to pick up an American accent, or not so much that as it was like I didn't want to keep getting labelled as an Australian. So I ended up speaking like a right Cockney, like, how are ya? And I ended up sounding more like an Aussie than ever. And so, but I must make more effort. You know what? Now, doesn't that look lovely? You know this is going to look so cool. And then, look, you didn't even have to draw it. Now you can go in and you can make, oh, Barbara, this is too good. Look, you can just make them, just dot. Smaller ones, like not even that small. Not even that small. Actually, I think nowadays, with dialects and that, I don't think, you know, in those days, if you talked with a plum in your mouth, that meant you were educated. And if you didn't, it meant you weren't. It was that kind of, there was a stigma attached to talking with a glottal stop like I do, or like a London accent. People used to say, oh, well, clearly, you know, working class, didn't go to university, didn't learn how to speak properly. I think that stigma's gone now, don't you? I hope that we've progressed beyond that, that we don't judge a person by the way they speak. I really do hope that those days are, that we can put that behind us. Doesn't that look good? What are we going to do about the leaves? Are we going to make the leaves white, or are we going to make them green? I would like to make them green, and I reckon if we use polychromos, I reckon that the polychromos, they will, I reckon that'll be absolutely beautiful. We're doing it Monday. Because I don't know where the polychromos... Oh, there's a great big bucket right there. For example, because we could use the pergoliners as well, it doesn't matter. I'm just checking something. Let me just check something out, right? If you were to use, let me use, for example, if I put a bit of green on there, that's what it's going to look like if we colour in the leaves, like that. Now, what would happen, let me just humour me for a minute. What would happen if I coloured the leaves in white first? This is like when we work on parchment. It's got to be dry though before I do the next stage. So let's say, for example, here, that's green and that's really, really coloured in, no shading whatsoever. We could take a darker green if we wanted. Let's take a darker green, right? That's nice too. There we go. See, we could do a little bit of shadow, couldn't we? Right, could do that. I wonder if that light limey green works. So we can pick out, no, that does too similar to the other one, isn't it? Pergoliner's got lovely greens. There's a really nice olive green in there. Oh, looky here. Look, so that's what happens if you go over the yellow. All right, back out with that yellow. So if we do a yellow like that, right, let's do that. Then we go back over with a green. Ah, so now it's not as, it's yellower. Okay. Is that dry yet? Not quite. Oh, impatient grey. Let's leave that little experiment to the side for a minute and let's go to this. Where's that? We can certainly do the berries. So what we're going to do now is take our I've got 01. Yeah? 01's good. And I'm going to... Have I got the right glasses on? Dame Edna's. Dame Edna's. Here we go. Right, here we go. So let's see. If I come round here like that, when it's dry, oh, it works like a treat. You're going to love this. You see, so you've got your berry. Yeah, look, it's absolutely deluxe. I knew it would be. God, doesn't it make them pop? I'll come in a bit closer in a minute. Let me just do a few to show you. See, so you go round the outside, go slowly. This is a piece of cake. Really beautiful. You could do loads. I mean, this whole thing. Do you know what? What a lovely wreath this would make. Like, oh, loads more white. Like loads of snowberries. Oh, hello. We've got, that one went wrong. See, I suppose if it goes wrong, you just go back over it with the white. Go slowly, Barbara, around the outside. Try not to go into the white. See how it makes it jump, though? And we haven't put the shadow on yet. Wait till we put a little bit of a drop shadow on. It'd be delightful. You happy? You okay? It's good distraction, isn't it? Doesn't it look lovely? I knew this would look good. I knew this would look good. Right, let me go back to that while we're on this subject, though. Let's have a little... Oh, I sound like Leonie now. I love Leonie. She's a very good friend. A darling woman. She's one of the presenters at Hochanda. They're all lovely. They really are. Right, so if I now... Let's say, for example, I go over the white with the green. I knew it, 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 I knew it. See how bright it is. Look. See if I add a bit more. Let's see if I add a bit depth. Say if I go in with a different colour as well. So what we're... Oh, yeah, this is the one. See, and then you can... What do I think? That green's a bit rubbish. I wonder if you can rub it out once you've... If you don't like it. Just bear with. Bear with. That's another thing Leonie says. Right. Yes. Okay. This is the way to go, guys. This is definitely the way to go. I like it. I like it. And then, right, so then what we're going to do is, once we've done that, then we can go, once we've done the colouring, look, if we want to put a... Oh, yeah. Right, you ready? See if I can show you up close. And then you decide what you think. Right, little experiment in the corner. Let it just sharpen up a bit so you can see it. Oh, it's a little bit. Yeah, look, see? So the white underneath, it just brings it to life. Now, yes. So this is a little bit interesting, actually, because what it means is, when we do the leaves, like we've done the berries... Look, we've done the berries all with black line art. See how they look really... Look at the difference between not lined and lined, right? This piece of artwork, this piece on buff paper, we're doing it with lines, really stylised, and the whiteness and the greenness, and it'll all be encapsulated. The one on the watercolour paper, that was the one where it's the same sort of thing. We're doing the colouring before we're doing the outline. It's similar but different, okay? So let's have a look. How are we doing for time? Are we okay still? Is everybody happy? Why has that gone all blue on the screen? Have you lost me? Am I still here, Stuart? Oh, I better change the batteries. Right, so what we could do now, since we've decided that that's what we're going to do, we've got to colour in all the leaves in white. We're going to lay down the undercoat if you're using buff. If you're not using buff and you're just using white, then it's a redundant exercise, isn't it? There you go. See? And then this is the nice thing about this. By the time you get round, by the time you've gone round the whole wreath, it'll be dry. See? Now you know why I didn't bother putting the vein down the middle, because I knew that we'd be covering it up. There you go. It's going to look so nice. It's one of those ones, you can't really see what it's going to look like until it's finished. But my little experiment in the corner gives you a good indication of where we're headed, doesn't it? So this will be a really nice one to keep you company over the weekend, if you feel like it. I mean, none of this is mandatory, none of this is compulsory, is it, or obligatory? You just you do whatever you need. If you need a little bit of distraction and you're getting anxious or you're worried, or then just take yourself away with your wreath, with a cup of tea, if you drink tea, and then just finish the wreath. And all you've got to do is exactly what I'm suggesting here, right? Which is colour in the leaves, well, colour in the berries with the fat end of the Posca pen. I mean, if you've only got the thin one, then you've just got to go around a few times, that's all. It's just as what I'm doing here. This is definitely, with the shapes, it's better to use the small one because you can get in to the shape of the leaf. Yeah? So what we're doing now is putting down the undercoat. Doesn't that look lovely though? Do you know, I can't wait at the end to take the white and the black and make dots, because I know it's what's going to make the artwork just pop, so to speak. So what we'll do is we won't come back to this, and on Monday we'll come back to this briefly, just to take a look at it and maybe add a bit of shadow, hey? But if you've got time over the weekend to do this job, this will keep you occupied for a good hour, and it's so nice to do. I find the white on buff so classy, don't you? Yeah. This would look nice with blue and not green. With blues, you know, like a real sprucey blue. I might have to have a look. I bet there's a good sprucey blue in the polychromos. So at 1 o'clock, I'm back on Hochanda with the gel press. Getting messy. I'm looking forward to it, because it is what it is. It's like a lot of things. It's unpredictable art. Most things this morning were pretty predictable, really. I knew what I was going to get. The gel press is unpredictable, but it's brilliant for if you're a perfectionist. If you're like I used to be, then get yourself a gel press, because it's learning how to work with what you've got. What is going on down here? It's quite a mess. So, my friends, that brings us to the end of the hour already. Can you believe it? I hope that you get to watch at 1 o'clock. And then I hope that you've enjoyed this hour. Be good, do good, feel good. Let's make that our mantra this weekend and see if it helps. And if anything's getting on your pip, switch it off. If the news is upsetting you, don't listen to it, because you can't change it, so you might as well just get an update from someone else. It always is less harrowing. Third party, isn't it? So there you go. This is going to look so nice. Mission accomplished. Doesn't that look elegant? So I may finish that later after my nap. After my nap. And it's already, is it 11:30? It certainly is. So thank you for your company. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you enjoyed that little session, and it gives you something to do over the weekend, you know. So I look forward. I'll have a little peep on Facebook and see how you're doing. Just because I'm not all over it like a rash, that's just me protecting myself a little bit. So lots of love to you. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. We know what to do. Wear a mask, wash your hands every 20 seconds for 20 seconds and all that jazz. Nothing new, nothing's changed. Just keep sticking to the rules. We know what works. Lots of love to you. Go easy. Bye-bye now. And thanks, Stuart.